Well, I've made a decision to take a back seat from the local plan now. Having reviewed the next stages and the way forward to ensure that we get the local plan adopted in the quickest way, I think there's a requirement to put a task force together to actually take that forward. I've been running this project now for 4 years. Spent a lot of time going around meeting a lot of people and having various discussions and public consultations on the plan. And obviously over that period of time, you actually get, it's a bit like a child to me. I'm wedded to the plan, and I think it's time now for me to take a step back from that role and get somebody with a fresh pair of eyes to look at how we're going to revise the plan to make sure it's adopted. When you go through an examination, it's quite normal practice. In fact, the inspector wanted to do the examination in several stages. We wanted to go ahead and get the plan in place at the earliest opportunity to protect our residents from builders coming in and exploiting some of our lovely green fields.
You say exploiting the lovely green fields. It's now being suggested that we have just basically opened, the doors to the developers to make hay, really, and to take advantage of this situation. Some of the council's critics are describing it as a paradise for speculators. Well,
as the law stands, I think the government's got a policy of housing growth, and is in MPPF, the planning department, and the rules actually state there's a presumption for growth. That's been in place now for 2.5 years. The situation we're in now is no different than where we've been over the last 2.5 years. What we're trying to do is to accelerate and get this local plan adopted so we can provide more protection for our open spaces in Cheshire East.
Do you take personal and exclusive responsibility for this situation?
Well, there's obviously been a big team of people involved. We've had representations from inspectors in central government who've come and inspected the plan. And overall, when we wouldn't have submitted a plan if we didn't feel it was going to pass. The plan has not failed. The inspector has said that the way that we've calculated our housing numbers and particular reference to jobs growth is that we've been a bit pessimistic.
But do you accept that what some people are saying, you will have read the criticisms in the newspapers that you personally have failed on this, and that's why you're stepping aside?
No, I don't think I've failed. I think we did a very thorough job. The fact that we got government inspectors to come and inspect the plan because we didn't want to put it in without us feeling we were confident it was going to go through. I don't think we have failed. This is a pause in the examination where the inspector has said, can you come back and explain your housing numbers, your jobs growth, and can you look at certain areas of Greenbelt and how you distributed the housing numbers that you've got. We've already recruited some external consultants to make sure we get the thing absolutely right. And it's quite right, I feel, at this point in time, that I step back and let somebody with a fresh pair of eyes, who's not wedded to what we've done, the same way that I think maybe I would be, because there's been a lot of personal effort gone into this.
Are you relieved to be out of it?
No. I hesitated there in terms of answering. No, it's something I always wanted to do. I fought very hard to do the local plan when we first formed the Unitary Authority. I'm very proud of what we've got in there in terms of new road infrastructure, the settlement hierarchy that we've actually defined. The inspector said was very good. So there's some very good points that were in there to take forward. I just feel that having spent 3.5 years with it, if I've got to change decisions that I've made previously, it'd be far better for somebody to do that who perhaps wasn't emotionally involved as I probably would be now. We don't in a sense lose anything from the fact that we're on hold at the moment, because we still have things like Greenbelt, which the government and we would use very much to protect the open countryside.
But will you have to release more Greenbelt?
I'm not sure whether we'll have to release more Greenbelt or revise where we've actually allocated Greenbelt at the moment. That's what the task force is going to have to decide, and there's a piece of work to be done on that. The inspector did say we will need more housing in the north of the borough, so that's around Wimslow and the Point and Knutsford areas. He specifically said that, so that's something that obviously we're going to have to look at to take that forward. But it's not, a planning application is not just turned down because you know, builders can't go everywhere. There are rules. There are rules on sustainability. If you're going to build houses around a town, how are you going to cope with it from a medical resource point of view, from an education point of view, and more importantly, from a transport point of view, in terms of people being able to get there. The methodology that we use for calculating the numbers and everything else has been proven, because we did a lot of work jointly with Cheshire West and Chester. We used their models, we used the same demographic people, and as I say, we had inspectors in to go through the plan. It's the timing, specific timing, when some of the government planning law was changed, that has led the inspector to do what he's doing. There are a lot of people who feel very passionately about this, as I do, about looking after Cheshire residents. And I just felt a fresh pair of eyes and a few more pairs of legs would actually go forward and take it forward with a different momentum than perhaps somebody who's been working on it for 4 years could bring to that team. Obviously, if the rules get changed around you and the rules change, that's okay. But the one thing that's driven this plan from start to finish is what the local residents want. That's what this council is here for, to provide services to the residents, to look after them and give them a pleasant place to live. You know, the Halifax survey last year said this was the best place in the northwest to live. I believe it's the best place in the country to live, and we want to keep it that way. But that way, we've got to look after the residents and drive that forward as a key underwriter to anything that we do on the local plan.